As I mentioned previously in the show, you have members of Congress allowed now to comb through unredacted Epstein files, and a lot is being revealed because of that, including an effort to cover up what were identified by law enforcement as co-conspirators of Epstein, which Kash Patel told us didn't exist, that are in these files. Not just associated, named as co-conspirators. We'll get to that in a second, but here's Lauren Boebert seeming pretty shaken up after being able to look at these unredacted files.
Congresswoman, are you among the members who got to see the unredacted files today?
Yes, I saw some of them, not all of them, obviously. And I'll be going back tomorrow to see more.
Any reaction on what you've seen so far?
I think that there's folks who are definitely implicated and co-conspirators. And, I don't think everyone there that was talking about underage girls being trafficked are victims.
Got it. And do you support any clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell? She was saying that
I do not. Okay. I think Ghislaine Maxwell should get more time, and she should definitely be in a harsher prison than what she's in. It's absolutely disgusting.
Got it. Thank you, Congresswoman.
It is disgusting. Now, one other question. And I think that's from the Midas Touch correspondent. I do want to credit. I'm pretty sure that's who was asking those questions. But the other question is, so then do you think it's disgusting that Trump won't take that off the table? Because he's now been asked like 3 times if he'll take clemency off the table for Ghislaine Maxwell. Especially now he should take it off the table as she's offering it for her testimony. And then I'll show you Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's getting more and more and more stark and clear in her language against Trump in a second here. But first, here's Republican Thomas Massie explaining kind of how, and I have a few clips on this, how they went into the room to review these documents and exposed the redactions that should not have been there. Just the quickest pause to request that you click the subscribe button, the simplest, easiest, freest way, completely free, to support the work that we do. Right below the video, click that subscribe button. Back to the video.
An example of something, maybe it wasn't intentional on their part. I'd like to hear his take on the redaction of the CEO, who's listed as a co-conspirator in the 2019 child sex trafficking case.
So can I ask you, because, and I want to ask if this is the same person, Todd Blanche also said about that tonight that the document you're citing there has victim names in it.
Correct.
To say that's why there are redactions. He said, we have just unredacted Les Wexner's name from this document, but his name already appears in the file thousands of other times. And he says the Justice Department is hiding nothing. Is that the retired CEO that you're referencing?
It is. He unredacted it after I found it. That's a problem. And I'm glad they've admitted they made a mistake by redacting that.
So you're saying it was redacted when you went in there today, and after you tweeted that, they unredacted it?
Correct. Now he's got 4 other names he needs to unredact. Did he respond to that? There's a list of 20 people. And there's 4 men in there that need to be unredacted. Here's another troubling thing that I found.
Can you say who those 4 men are tonight?
I don't think they're well known. And so if I did, it wouldn't matter, but I could probably say them on the floor of the House.
And Ro Khanna did just that, which we'll get to in just a moment. But let me read for you. Aaron Parnas said the FBI labeled several individuals as co-conspirators. Only Maxwell and Epstein were indicted. So you can see here, it's kind of difficult, but Les Wexner was one of the people you heard him confirm, who's, you can see in this document, parentheses, co-conspirator. Kash Patel said there weren't any other co-conspirators, but they labeled it that way. And you're going to get the names of the 6 people that just through a couple hours of being able to see the unredacted documents, Thomas Massie and not Kash Patel, and Ro Khanna were able to expose. Just a couple hours of looking through and checking with what was redacted and wasn't. They were able to expose 6 names that were listed as co-conspirators that they had protected the names of, which is not at all what the law said you're supposed to do. Before getting to that, let me show you what Marjorie Taylor Greene has been saying amid all these revelations.
Jeffrey Epstein was supposedly killed. That's on an FBI form. That's not somebody calling in an anonymous tip or writing it on some deep, dark place in the internet. That's an actual FBI file stating what happened. And people are going to have to completely take in what they are seeing with their own eyes, what they're reading, and what they're being told. The reality is the Trump administration is not releasing the information. And I got yelled at by the president over this. This is why he called me a traitor. He called me a traitor because I would not take my name off the discharge petition because I stood firmly and said, no, we're going to release the Epstein files. I'm standing with women who were raped as teenagers. I'm not standing with the government. I don't support the cover up of all of this stuff, whatever it may be. And the president got mad at me, and he's told me, and I've said this multiple times, he told me his friends would get hurt. And that's what he told me. And then we're seeing a continued slow walk and cover up of a lot of this information. And I know that is why. I firmly believe that that's why it is being covered up. Look, Pam Bondi works directly for Donald Trump. She is not out there an independent attorney general. She can't just run out and do whatever she wants. She works at the pleasure and approval of the President of the United States. Everybody in the administration does. So does the FBI. They're under the very same pleasure and approval of the President of the United States. So when everyone's getting mad at Pam Bondi, or you can name anybody you want. The man at the top is Donald Trump. He's the president. And he's the one that was completely against releasing the files. When we started fighting to get them released, he's the one that called it a Democrat hoax. He's the one that, he invites everybody to the White House, but he will not invite these women that have defended him, by the way. They have defended him and said Donald Trump did nothing wrong. They have defended him, yet he doesn't bring them in the White House and support them. But what you're seeing is if it looks like a duck, and if it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it's a duck.
Or it might be a Lutnick.
Swallow.
Hey, dude, I don't know what that means, but good one, I guess. So here's the deal. You're thinking, Luke, we've been hearing that for quite some time now. She's been saying it, but is there any actual progress being made? Yes. And I do want to credit the members of Congress who have not stopped on this, because the thing Trump expected, which is why he said this is a hoax and let's move on from it. He's used to in his entire political career when he creates news scandals, whenever he caused the news cycle to move so fast, there's never an ability to keep putting pressure on certain specific stories, however infrequently there's a big update on them. And it's been because of the advocacy from the survivors, from members of of Congress, from journalists, continuing to bring this up, that we've actually seen progress. So here's an example of that. Alleged Epstein co-conspirators named on House floor as lawmaker overrides redactions. That's Ro Khanna, who got in the House floor after seeing these unredacted files and exposing that the Trump DOJ broke the law in protecting the names of alleged co-conspirators that were not supposed to be redacted, and he read them on the House floor.
Yesterday, Congressman Massey and I went to the Department of Justice to read the unredacted Epstein files. We spent about 2 hours there, and we learned that 70 to 80% of the files are still redacted. In fact, there were 6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. When Congressman Massey and I pointed this out to the Department of Justice, they acknowledged their mistake, and now they have revealed the identity of these 6 powerful men. These men are Salvatore Navora, Zorab Mikoladze, Leopig Leonor, Nicola Caputa, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World, and billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner, who was labeled as a co-conspirator by the FBI. Now, my question is, why did it take Thomas Massey and me going to the Justice Department to get these 6 men's identities to become public? And if we found 6 men that they were hiding in 2 hours, imagine how many men they are covering up for in those 3 million files.
And so this will inevitably, hopefully, but I do think inevitably, lead to more scrutiny on the individuals you just heard there. And most of the names I didn't recognize, but obviously Lex Wexner, did I say Les Wexner, the founder of Victoria's Secret, disturbing. And they need to have more scrutiny put on them. And Thomas Massey wrote that, as I've been mentioning, this is significant because Kash Patel testified to Congress, the FBI had no evidence of other sex traffickers. The FBI's own 2019 document listing Wexner as a co-conspirator in child sex trafficking. It wasn't unredacted until tonight. So even to this day, they've been breaking the law. Really think about that. Breaking the law to protect people's identities, whether passing mentions of them or explicit references to co-conspirators in their documentation. And so huge credit for the continued pressure on this, because it actually is causing more stuff to come to light.